Neville Symington said, sometimes in transference, when you're dealing with someone who's narcissistically, defended, inclined, it's that you don't feel anything coming from them. Mm-hmm. That made me think about how it's sort of this process of exclusion or blocking. Is that something that happens to you?
Absolutely. When I was getting supervision with Otto Kernberg, who emphasizes transference, I go to supervision, I say, Otto, I don't know what to do with this new patient. It's like I'm not there. There is no transference. And he said, well, that's the first stage of the narcissistic transference. The other doesn't exist. As critical as we might be of people with narcissism, they suffer a lot. I think they're kind of enslaved in an isolation. Because imagine you're in a room with your therapist and you hardly let the person in. You're just there, kind of locked in your own self-contained system. It's a lonely world. Transference, as you said, is whatever the patient imagines you as. So the transfer is from the mind of the patient onto the outside world. Countertransference, since we all have minds, is the feelings and images from the therapist that are provoked and experienced in relation to the patient. It gets a little bit complicated because there are two sources of countertransference. We have to have our own therapy, usually, unless you're really, really good at self-awareness, to know ourselves well enough to figure out what part of my feelings towards this patient comes from me versus what part is provoked in me by the patient. Because patients, and people in general, have a way of interacting with us that elicit a feeling in us that is really theirs.